party people in the place to be. What's going on? It's me. If it's Thursday and the costume Dwayne Wayne shades are on and the hat is being worn, then it must be time for a different world. Ooh, than where you come from. All right, so a little tip, a couple tips. First off, if you're watching this on Amazon Prime, which is where you can find a different world streaming right now, if you're watching this on Amazon Prime on your computer, hit the episode 14, Pride and Prejudice. Hit season 3, episode 14. Go to that, let it play for a couple of seconds, pause it, and then scroll slowly over to 00. Right? It should stay put. To sync up to 0 on a device like a PlayStation 4 like I have, first thing you do is open the episode, scroll down past skip intro. It won't show you the menu, but scroll down anyway and you should see X-ray. Click on that. Then at the very top of the screen, you'll see end scene and scenes. Scroll over to scenes, and there you have the opening credits. Scroll down to jump to scene, and when we count down to 1, and there you go. If it doesn't stay, then you can always jump to the first scene, which is after the opening credits, which will always be at 1:05. Okay, it'll always be at 1:05 because that's how long the intro takes, and I will cue you when that comes up. Get it? Got it? Good. There are also rules to this. Grab your drinks while I'm explaining all this, while I'm doing house party stuff or house cleaning stuff, including but not limited to telling you about patreon.com/thereal469, but you already know that because you're already there subscribing, and I thank you for that. If Mr. Gaines says, oh my goodness, take a sip. If Ron gets insulted by anybody or shot down for a date, take a sip. If Whitley insults somebody, take a sip. And there have been some close calls. There have been some close calls. You'll hear the ding if I think it's official or not, but you can always, take it for what it's worth. You take a sip if Whitley gets insulted by somebody. Somebody snaps back at her. You take 2 sips. In this episode, you're going to be taking 2 sips a lot. And for the wrong reasons, too. Like, these aren't the good-natured, the good-natured, Whitley says, I don't like your shoes, and I don't like you back. It's not going to be that. It's going to be some bad-natured shit. But we're still going to count them, because the core thing to remember when watching this is that, yes, we're watching a classic, but we're also here to get you fucked up. Okay? Take 2 sips. If somebody impersonates Whitley, you finish half your drink. If Dwayne's shades either flip up or down, you finish your drink. And if somebody says Konnichiwa, finish your drink. All right. Get it, got it, good. I got my drink already. My drink right now is got me some Seagram's gin. Oh, no. As well as some Sprite and some strawberry kiwi juice. So I'm on the tropical thing right now. I'm on an island. I got my little fan over here. I don't know if you hear it or not. I'm on a desert isle, baby. I'm enjoying life. But that's what we're doing right now. So, A Different World, Season 3, Episode 14. I'm not going to tell you what this episode is. You should have watched the last episode. Give the synopsis. You'll remember which episode this is as soon as it starts. And I'm giving you all this lead-up time so that you get everything ready and at 0.0. All right? And I will count you down as well. All right? So here we go. Season 3, Episode 14, Pride and Prejudice of a Different World, starts in 3, in 2, in 1, and start. I know my parents love me. Stand behind me, come what may. I know now that I'm ready. For finally heard them say, it's a different world, ooh, than where you come from. Yes, it is now. Here's our chance to make it. And if we focus on our goal, you can dish out, we can take it. Hey, just remember that you've been told it's a different world. Oh, It's a different world than where you come from. Ooh, 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 then where you come. Oh, we're getting there. 103, 104, 105. Oh, I think I remember that. Okay, now I remember. Now I remember. Now I remember. Didn't you have a crush on that man? It's an insult to Monica. It's another one. That's a snapback. Whitley in her little tennis skirt. This is, by the way, this is one of those things that this is one of those things they did on 80s, 90s TV that never actually happens. They don't expose civilians to this. You're either in or you're out. Try using the momentum, Walter. Try using the momentum, Walter. But I can see why they decided to do it in this episode. They decided to lighten. They decided to lighten the. To lighten the tone. Two sips. Yep. And one. Uh-oh. None, because Freddie took your purse. Oh shit! I'm missing a couple of them. I'm gonna have to take a few sips. Take a few sips. Fuck it, I might as well just finish my drink at that point. There's an mm-hmm. That's definitely a Ryan insult. Although homegirl behind Ron, though, she like her smoky eyes. By the way, it's past 4. That ain't gonna get to your daddy in time. I'll take you over. I'll take that. That was a snapback. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, I'm going to ask Ron this up. Dressed to kill. Nope. The fidget. The fidget is an unsung hero of a different world. The fidget is the unsung hero of a different world. So yeah, this episode is that episode. I remember this episode now, especially really everything in it. I forgot to associate the army thing with, and they set it up with Ron. And Ron, it wasn't Ron, it was Walter. At least Amazon did. Yeah, this is an interesting episode. It's one of those episodes that I'm like, well, how did that really work then? Like, I didn't quite understand everything when I saw it the first time, but I forgot that they're in Virginia. Hillman is in the Virginia, D.C. area. So, in 1990 and now, but that deep-seated way down south in Dixie shit was still very, very much so a thing. And again, we had the army stuff, the ROTC stuff, really to lighten the mood in between scenes. That's all it was there for. It had no other meaning anywhere else. Not going to follow anything anywhere else. But all it does is it lightens the mood and it gets Ernest on TV one more time. That's all it does. It also, though, shows Ron as competent in something again. And that's not something that always happens that often on this show. A lot of times Ron isn't necessarily seen as like the goof, as you've seen a couple episodes ago, but here he's very competent in his ROTC role. This isn't the first time we've seen that, but he's very competent in his ROTC role. He also was very competent in his role with the fraternity. That's not something that we necessarily saw in a lot of other things. So that's it's low-key a good episode for Ron. And low-key a bad episode for Dwayne, because Dwayne falls on his ass. Fucking Walter falls on his ass. You had a good story for Mr. Gaines. We haven't seen a whole lot of Kim lately. I'd imagine that might be getting fixed relatively soon. We saw heavy focus on her in a couple episodes ago. Nice little light focus on Freddie. I stand corrected, because a couple episodes ago I was like, there's no way they're gonna continue to focus on the relationship Freddie has with Whitley or kind of build on that, but they actually do. Like, she is the one that goes to the mall with Whitley and sees the interaction that she has with the sales lady Amy. That's wow. That's pretty good. This episode, I distinctly remember it. I very much so remember this episode. It's not untimely. It's unfortunately kind of a timeless episode. But it is an interesting kind of snapshot in the role bigotry has played in our society over the last, now at this point, Jesus, 30 years. Jesus, 30 years. It was, we had this thing of subtlety a lot more in our society in general, but also in the racism. Now, in terms of bigotry, in terms of race politics, in terms of race talk, there's a lot more overtness to it. And maybe that has a lot to do with the fact that we have instant everything now with social media and stuff. But this is an incident where, and by the way, this is an incident where all you fans who are like, oh, A Different World needs a reboot. If they did this episode as a reboot, Whitley would go back there and secretly tape the shit on her phone, right? Or Freddie would have whipped out her phone immediately, and it would have been a big thing. Like it would have been a huger thing than just, let's talk to Amy in the back. And also, by the way, and that's the other thing. 30 years removed from this, now Amy can't find a job anywhere, and her whole life is fucking ruined. And you may think, oh, good, fine, fuck her. Not much of an argument for me. But at least here, she gets some punishment for her action, but she's not utterly irredeemable to the point where she's destitute now. You know what I'm saying? Or she has to turn super into the right wing shit. She might fucking learn a lesson here. You know what I'm saying? She might learn a lesson. She loses her job here, but then she learns a lesson to not be that way with customers later on. And, you know, even if it doesn't turn the tide and she, you know, goes home to some, you know, big, you know, black dude for the rest of her life, at least she learns a lesson and isn't. It's a small consolation. It's one of those stupid lesser of two evils thing, or lesser of evils things where, okay, so she's not overtly racist to the customers anymore that she serves. The customers that she serves now, she, you know, just kind of does her job and is on her way, right? But it's something, right? Whereas now, 30 years later, Amy would be... Actually, 30 years later, Amy would make out like a fucking bandit. You know why? Because she'd make a GoFundMe, and the right wing actually would fund her for a while and give her more money than she would have made sitting in the fucking store. So, you know, there's that. Like I was gonna say, like I thought about it for a second. I'm like, actually no, she'd fuck around and make out like a bandit. Like, yeah, she'd lose her job and not be able to get another job at least for a while the fucking social media storm is on her. But she'd just make a fucking GoFundMe and make out like a goddamn bandit. So, you know, fucking right wingers would fucking flourish her with all the goddamn Mountain Dew and Confederate flags her little heart could desire. Fucking Dukes of Hazzard reruns her little heart would desire. So it's actually worse now. Good job. Anyway, that was Pride and Prejudice. That was an interesting episode. Party people, do me a favor. Go to patreon.com/0469 to help keep the lights on at the party. To help support me. But also, next week we're going to be watching episode 15, Success, Lies, and Videotape. Claire Huxtable returns to Hillman. That's all I need to see. I distinctly remember this episode now. Distinctly and wholeheartedly remember this episode now. And this is another, not Whitley-centric. It's actually Claire-centric. Actually, no. It turns into like a Freddie-centric episode, I think. But at least it ends in a Freddie-centric episode, which is pretty good. But Jaleesa gets a nice little pop in here. Everybody kind of has their time to shine, except for Walter. I think this is one of the episodes we don't see Walter or the Colonel or Mr. Gaines. If we may see Mr. Gaines, they may start off at the pit, but we don't see Walter or Colonel Gaines, I don't think, in this episode. Claire Huxtable returns to Hillman to conduct a videotape career development program. Felicia Rashad and Ahmad Rashad guest star. Yeah, I distinctly remember this episode. Distinctly remember this episode. Anyway, party people, tell me what you think down there in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. If you know all the stuff I mentioned before, with the watch party and everything, I think that'll be fun. We are barreling towards the end of the season. This is episode 15 already. There are 25 episodes, so we are barreling our way through. Let me know what you want to do when we get to that season finale, and we will do it. Share this video. Let me know your experiences with the video and with the syncing up. If you like the updated cues and everything to help make sure that you sync it up just right, so that we can get this whole thing going properly. And in the meantime, the in-between time, party people, cheers.